This is the Living in Clarity podcast. I'm Coach Ratner, and today we're going to talk about anxiety and self-esteem during a crisis because I don't know about you, but I'm not okay. I mean, I wake up every single morning with a pit in my stomach, and all I'm hoping for, all I'm praying to see is I wake up in the morning and I see that the IDF has rescued some hostages. I mean, even if they rescued 10 or 20, at least I feel like, okay, there's hope. And right now we're all struggling. And it's okay not to be okay. You know, people normally say, hey, how you doing? I'm like, I'm okay. I'm not okay. I'm not. I don't think anyone else in the Jewish world's okay. I don't think if you're living in Israel or living in California, I think you're not okay. I don't say you're okay. We're all going through anxiety. We're all going through low self-esteem. We feel bad about it. You know, there's an idea called hostage remorse. The fact of why am I not a hostage? Why didn't I get killed? Why, I feel guilty about it. What can we do? So today we're going to talk about some ideas to help you through having high anxiety or having low self-esteem. What you can do to make yourself feel better. What you can do to make yourself a happier person. As my wife says, God did not intend us to be a hostage. And I can't feel guilty about it. I can't feel guilty about the fact that I wasn't taken hostage. I can't feel guilty the fact that I didn't have any loved ones who were killed, although everyone in my community, there's shivas everywhere in my neighborhood for people that had relatives or close ones that were killed. But I can't feel, I have to move with my life. I have to live. And I can't wake up every single morning with this horror. You're going to feel bad for a while, but we have to do things and to make ourselves feel better. I'm a mess, and I want to turn my mess into my message. We're like in this emotional prison right now, and we want to get out. And we will. We will get better someday. It's going to happen. This war's going to end. We will get the hostages back. We'll feel better about ourselves. But this darkness doesn't really exist. When God created the world, he said there was darkness upon the depths of the waters. The darkness was there before creation, which means how can something exist before creation? Because darkness doesn't exist. Darkness is just an absence of light. We're just missing light in our life. You can take a dark room, completely black, pitch black, and light one little small match or one little candle, and the whole room lights up. Which means that we just have to bring some light into our lives. We have to do something that makes us happy as people. It really takes, work. It doesn't happen naturally. You have to bring happiness into your life. We're in a dark place right now. It's like a diamond that comes out of the ground. It's black and it's got carbon all over it. And you have to take the diamond and take it to a diamond cutter. And he's got to slice it and cut it in such the right way for the fastest to allow light into this diamond. When that diamond is cut the right way, it allows an amazing amount of light in, and that light reflects back out to the world. And right now, we need to reflect light back out into the world. We have to shape ourselves into a diamond. A perfect diamond, but one at least that can bring light in. We're just, right now we're like that black diamond. We got to bring light into our lives. So I'm going to give you a few ideas today that can help to bring light back into your life. One of the things that really is hard for many people, including myself, is watching the videos of the massacre. Now, it's funny. When I was younger, in my 20s and 30s, I'd watch, horror flicks or, movies that weren't so kosher. Maybe they were violent. I can't watch them anymore. I can't watch any violent movies now that I'm much older. But if that's going to make you feel bad, you shouldn't watch it. I remember I saw by accident just a video of some Hamas terrorists coming through a southern neighborhood in South Israel, and this little cute doggy walks up to them and they shoot him. I couldn't even watch that, let alone killing babies and mothers. I just can't imagine it. So I have to control my exposure. If it's going to make you feel bad, don't watch it. It's good to stay up on the news, but only so much. You can sit, the first 2 weeks, the first week, nothing was happening in this country because everyone's just nonstop on the Times of Israel, Jerusalem Post, Haaretz, whatever they're watching, CNN, whatever news source you're watching, and it kills you. I-24 News, It just kills you. It eats away at your soul. So you got to stay away from that. I remember I would I would try to find online some of my favorite scenes from movies that made me laugh or made me smile, and I just watch them over and over again. That's one thing you can do to make yourself feel better. You have to do what you have to do in order to not have this anxiety. This is the Living in Clarity podcast, and I'm here at Faces International here in Jerusalem, where they're taking orders from soldiers, the families of soldiers, and displaced families here in Israel who need lots of supplies, need lots of help. Please donate today to facesinternational.co.il, and thank you so much for your support. I tell my wife all the time, I got to do things that make me happy. I like cooking. I like good food. Actually, I don't really like cooking. I like good food. So I cook. So every day in my house, I've been planning dinner. Like, that's one of the things I do to get through this. I say to the kids, before we went for dinner tomorrow night, they want tacos, we want salad bar, we want, curry. My kids are really good eaters. I mean, how many kids ask for curry and vegetables? Not many. How many kids ask for a salad bar? One of our favorite dinners is like a salad bar. Like I make my own croutons. I take all the leftover. Okay, now we're into a cooking class, but this makes me feel good. I take the little ends of those, that you buy this bread here in Israel, great bread, and you take these little end pieces. They're too small for sandwiches, and I freeze them. And when I get a big bag, I make my own croutons. I take them and I cut them I toast them and I cut them to little small squares. I, chop a lot of garlic and I just put a ton of olive oil and garlic and heat them up for a minute. And they're delicious. And that's one of the staples of my salad bar. I make salmon, hearts of palm, avocados, carrots, cucumbers, lettuce, whatever we got in the fridge. My kids love that, and it's healthy. So I plan that in advance. I plan the night before. Tonight I'm making curry. I got vegetables last night. We use squash and peppers, kuzbara, which is cilantro, which is funny. Cilantro is a funny thing. You either love it or you hate it. I love cilantro. Basil. And so I make food. That makes me happy. That makes my kids happy. I'm struggling. I got to do things that make me not struggle. I still am in the middle of writing a book, which will be out in 2024. I'm actually going to make it free to download on my website, coachradner.com. The book's called Unloved: The 12 Strategies to Cure Low Self-Esteem. Because everyone goes through low self-esteem, but now with this war, it's self-esteem and anxiety and depression, almost depression. We gotta battle it. Excuse me. So I control my exposure. I don't watch the news that much. I just read the headlines once or twice a day. I do things that make me happy. Praying is very important. I pray. I go to Minyan 3 times a day. I come to the Kotel every day. I teach here at Esher Torah, and I go to the Kotel. Dav Micha. I say Tehillim. Sometimes when I have time, I'll read a bunch of Tehillim, which are praises to God. I'm trying to connect. And praying is a very important thing. Like meditation and prayer, whatever you do. Meditation is like, thinking to yourself, thinking your own thoughts. Talking to yourself is meditation, but praying is talking to God. And praying does help. We all need to pray. And then exercise. Exercise is such an important part of our life. People don't realize that a lot of our happiness comes from exercise because, we're not, in the olden times, we had to go out and fetch water from the river, and we had to cut down and chop wood to make a fire and go kill an animal and kill it and roast it. Like, we had to work in order to eat, just to survive. We had to build our own houses. And nowadays, you just call 1-800-DoorDash and you get a pizza. Whatever you want, it's delivered to your door. So we got to exercise. Our brain produces serotonin, dopamine, melatonin, all these different things our brain produces, these happy drugs that we have in our life, that if we're not producing them, if we're not exercising, they're not going to get produced. God wants us to be happy. He wants us to take pleasure in the world. The first place God put man was a place called Gan Eden. If I ask people, okay, what does Gan Eden mean in English? The Garden of Eden. But Eden is just a transliteration of Eden. It's not really what it means. Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden, means the garden of pleasure. God put us here for pleasure. We're supposed to take pleasure in the world. And when you're going through anxiety and depression and low self-esteem, it's hard to take pleasure in the world. It's hard to take pleasure in anything. So you got to find what makes you happy and do it. Get rid of things, control your exposure. Don't watch things that make you feel bad. Pray to God, exercise. I mean, sometimes you have to get out of your comfort zone to do things that make you happy. It's not so easy through these tough times. But eating food that for me, food makes me happy. So eating food that I like a lot makes me happy. Exercising eventually makes you happy because your brain produces those drugs. And you won't have to deal with anxiety and self-esteem they're going through. We're going through a crisis. This is a crisis. It's a crisis of survival. People like jokingly said last week when America had to change their clocks back 1 hour, they said, let's change our clocks back to Germany 1938, excuse me. There's some truth to that. I mean, normally you wouldn't be nervous walking around New York or Washington or Miami or LA or Chicago or Denver with a yarmulke on your head. But nowadays, man, you got to be nervous. I mean, it's crazy what's going on. The world is upside down. The world's gone nuts. That's all I can say. So I want you to help your self-esteem. I want you to get rid of this anxiety. I want you to get out of this dark place. Remember, darkness does not exist. It's just basically our view of the world. We got to change our goggles. And we do that by getting rid of things that make us feel bad. Praying to God, exercising. Do things that make you happy. And you'll do that, you'll be a lot happier person. Thank you very much. Also, I want to give a shout out to Faces International because I'm using their studio here today. Faces International is an organization here in Jerusalem that is helping displaced families here in Israel with needs because not all of them are getting paid by the government. They're helping with families whose husbands or sons have gone to war, and they're helping the soldiers themselves. They're helping taking orders here at this facility here in Jerusalem where they're taking orders for what people need, not what they think they want, because everyone wants to send them brownies and cookies. And no offense, but soldiers can only eat so many brownies and cookies. But they take orders for what they need, and they pay for them, and they through funding, through donations. You go to facesinternational.co.il, and we can donate. And they need your donations, so please donate today. And thank you for listening to the Living Clarity podcast, and thank you for your support today. Thank you so much.